Hello and welcome to Exam Minded YouTube channel. Today we are going to learn about Prime Minister and Council of Ministers in context to Class 10th ICSE Chapter 3, and we are also going to see previous year questions related to this chapter. So let me start this chapter by asking you one question. Which kind of government do we have? So in India, we have a parliamentary form of government. Parliamentary form of government is also known as cabinet form of government. And who is the head of the cabinet? Prime Minister is the head of the cabinet. In India, we have two key leaders at top. The President, who is the constitutional head, and Prime Minister, who is the real executive. The Prime Minister is the leader of the Council of Ministers and head of the government. They may be chosen from the elected members of the parliament and is usually the leader of the party with majority support in Lok Sabha. All major policies, laws, and decisions of the union government are taken under the Prime Minister's leadership. You can think of Prime Minister as the captain of the government, setting the direction, coordinating the ministers, and representing India inside and outside the country. Let us understand who appoints Prime Minister. So Prime Minister is appointed by President, and President cannot randomly elect or appoint any person to be a Prime Minister. जिस भी कैंडिडेट को प्राइम मिनिस्टर इज गोइंग टू अपॉइंट एज अ प्राइम मिनिस्टर शुड होल्ड अ मेजॉरिटी इन द हाउस ऑफ द लोकसभा. अब रैंडमली तो प्रेसिडेंट को पता नहीं चल जाएगा कि हु कैन होल्ड द मेजॉरिटी. फॉर दैट जब इलेक्शन लोकसभा का हुआ है एंड विच सो एवर पार्टी हैज़ द हाइएस्ट मेजॉरिटी ऑफ वोट्स इन दैट इलेक्शन, president will invite them to form the government, and among those people who are being invited will elect their leader to be appointed as prime minister. Okay, now let us understand कि अगर एक majority party is not winning the election, if there is not a single largest party who is winning the election, then what happens? Then group of these political parties can come together and form a group. This group will be known as coalition. Like currently we have a coalition government. Moving forward, who is the real head of the nation? Prime Minister is the real head of the nation, and he is also head of the government, and Prime Minister is also answerable to the country. So I hope these points are clear to you. Moving forward with formation of Council of Ministers. Before that, let us understand who comprises of these Council of Ministers. होते कौन है ये लोग? Council of Ministers होते कौन है? सबसे पहले Council of Ministers को समझने से पहले let us understand that who ministers are. So there is Article 75 which states that Prime Minister shall be appointed by the President and other ministers shall be appointed by the President on the advice of Prime Minister. प्राइम मिनिस्टर तो अपॉइंट हो गए हैं, मेजॉरिटी जो जीत कर आए हैं वो अपने में से लीडर को अपॉइंट करके उनको प्राइम मिनिस्टर बनवा दे रहे हैं. अब प्राइम मिनिस्टर जिनको अपॉइंटमेंट मिल चुकी है, ही विल कम फॉरवर्ड, ही विल चूज सर्टेन पीपल. जो इलेक्टेड मेंबर्स है, जो एमपीज है भी, उनमें से ही विल चूज पीपल एंड देन ही विल एडवाइज द प्रेसिडेंट टू मेक देम एज मिनिस्टर्स. इन्हीं में डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स होते हैं, and different type of ministers are cabinet ministers, ministry of state, and deputy ministers. Let us understand the ranking of these ministers. Cabinet ministers rank the highest among these other two form of ministers, and also they hold the important portfolios like अभी current हमारे Amit Shah is the home minister, so that is a portfolio which Amit Shah is holding. Next, he also attends the meeting of the cabinet. Moving on to Ministry of State, he is the next, like second ranking in ministries from cabinet ministers, and they do not attend the meetings of the cabinet until and unless they are not invited to attend it. Also, they may have an independent charge of the portfolio or they may work under cabinet minister. Moving forward to the third type of minister, which is deputy minister. They may not be attending the meeting of the cabinet until unless they are required to attend, and they assist these two ministers, which is cabinet minister and minister of state. I hope these ranking of ministers are clear to you. Now let me give you one more point which we have also seen in the chapter of president, that in 44th Amendment Act it was made mandatory that Council of Ministers should give in writing to president before he wants to declare a national emergency. So in writing from the Council of Ministers is required by president to declare an emergency. I hope these points are clear to you. अब अगर ऐसा है कि प्राइम मिनिस्टर कैन चूज एनीवन टू बी काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर और टू बी पार्ट ऑफ काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर, तब तो वो अपने किसी भी सगे संबंधी को चूज कर लेंगे. नो, इट डजंट हैपन लाइक दैट. Whomever he is choosing as council of ministers or a minister, and if that person is not part or not elected person, that person can be chosen, but after 6 months that person should be elected or nominated to become a member of parliament. So that person within 6 months should be MP if that person was not elected initially. Then also काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स या फिर इन मिनिस्टर्स को जो हम पोर्टफोलियो दे रहे हैं, 3 डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स है, कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर, मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट एंड डिप्टी मिनिस्टर. देयर इज अ लिमिट. इनफाइनाइट नंबर ऑफ पीपल को मिनिस्टर्स नहीं बनाया जा सकता है. ओनली 15% अमंग दीज 15% of the strength of the Lok Sabha can only become the ministers. Not everyone. Only 15% of the Lok Sabha strength of the house can only become the ministers. I hope these points are clear to you. Moving forward, we are going to see about the cabinet, how it is formed, what is the appointment, what is the term of the office, powers and functions they possess. So let us understand one thing. Council of Ministers. If I say that Council of Ministers is in outer circle, let us assume that this is the elected people. This square represents an elected people. Then this is Council of Ministers and Prime Minister, and this is the cabinet and Prime Minister. So elected people बहुत हो सकते हैं. There are lot of people who are elected. उस elected people में से Prime Minister are selecting few people to be Council of Ministers. उस few people में भी certain few people are part of cabinet. So this inner circle is cabinet. So strength of Council of Minister was 15% of the strength of the House of Lok Sabha. Elected people from that majority elected people have come forward and made the government. So cabinet is composed of a small but important body of senior leaders of the party who are included in the Council of Ministers. I hope this point is clear to you. And this cabinet hold important portfolios and decide major policies of the government. And they are the trusted colleagues of the Prime Minister, and they form a nucleus of administration. Whatsoever administration is going to occur in our country is going to pass through this cabinet. I hope the importance of cabinet is clear in your head. So let's see who appoint cabinet. As I said, Prime Minister will decide whom to appoint, and then he will advise it to President, and then President will appoint them. Now let's move forward and understand the term of office. The term of office that the ministers hold office during the pleasure of the President. What do you mean by the pleasure of the President? President का जब मन करेगा तब वो remove कर सकते हैं इनको? नहीं. First, these people will enjoy their office till they have the majority, and also is like, this statement is most important. जब तक Prime Minister चाहे तब तक, like Prime Minister is going to advise to President to either remove them or to keep them. So President has little power in this regard because Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers are directly responsible to the Lok Sabha and can remain in office so long as they enjoy the majority support in the House of the People. And if Lok Sabha passes a vote of no confidence, then they have to resign collectively. Also, Council of Ministers are collectively responsible to Lok Sabha. Before a minister enters upon his or her office, they have to take oath also. Which kind of oath do they take? They take oath of office and secrecy, and president administer this oath to them. So president is making them take that oath. What do they swear in this oath? They swear to bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India, uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India, faithfully and conscientiously discharge their duty without fear or favor, action or ill will. And what is oath of secrecy? The secrecy is this, that they are not going to directly or indirectly reveal anything which they know in the matter of administration of India. They have to keep it as a secret. Also, every minister must be a member of House. If they are not, then within the appointment of 6 months they can become a member either by election or by nomination, and their salaries and allowance are such that is decided by the Parliament as per the law. Moving forward, let's see the powers of this cabinet. There are 4 different powers. First is administrative, next one is legislative, followed by financial, and they also have certain powers during the emergencies. Let us look upon these one by one. So, different administrative powers which they have. Administrative powers are, they have policy making power, implementation of these policy making powers, coordinating the functions of various ministries, appointments of the major important portfolios. These people formulate the domestic and foreign policies, controls the government departments, and executes the law passed by the Parliament. So these people act as an executive in this forum. Let's move to the legislative power. These people have the power to introduce the bill in the Parliament. Next, they decide the legislative policies. Also, they control the parliamentary agendas. Also, they are the source of information. If someone is raising up in their chair in the Parliament and asking some questions, then these people have to answer them. And the amendment of the Constitution also lies with them. If they want to amend, then they will bring that bill in the floor of the Constitution and will amend it. Calling the House of the Parliament to hold a session also lies in their hand, and issuing a ordinance, like if president wants to, it is a power of the president under Article 123 to issue an ordinance. But president cannot issue an ordinance on its own when both the houses are not in session. It has to take the recommendation from Council of Ministers. And also, whenever there is first session of the Lok Sabha, or there is a first session after General Assembly, presidents give his special address and these people pass it, showing their majority. Moving forward to financial powers, they have the power to represent the budget in the session. Also, they prepare it and control the public expenditure and decides the financial policies and taxation. Like now, from 22nd of September 2025, the GST rates are going to decrease. Who has taken this decision? This decision has been taken by the Council of Ministers headed by Prime Minister. Okay, moving forward to the emergency power. A president cannot declare an emergency until and unless he receives in a written format from Council of Ministers to do so. Also, the cabinet's decision in the emergencies have a binding effect. Whatever they decide, it will be followed. I hope these points are clear to you. Moving forward with relation of Prime Minister with President, Cabinet and Parliament, let's see in each one by one. So, let us understand the Prime Minister and President's relation. So, Prime Minister is the chief advisor of the President. Whatsoever Council of Ministers has to talk to President, the Prime Minister acts as a link between President and Council of Ministers. President acts according to the advice of Council of Ministers, which is headed by the Prime Minister. Prime Minister keeps the President informed about the decisions and policies. Whenever President wants to know about any kind of policies, any kind of things which is happening in the country, Prime Minister has to inform him about it. I hope this relation is clear to you. Moving forward to Prime Minister and Cabinet. Prime Minister is the keystone of the Cabinet arc. There was one previous year question asked that who is the keystone of the Cabinet arc. It is Prime Minister who is the keystone of the Cabinet arc. And without Prime Minister, Cabinet cannot function, as Prime Minister is the head of the Cabinet. And Prime Minister has the power to resign. And if Prime Minister is resigning, then Cabinet falls. They also doesn't keep up. They also have to resign. And also Prime Minister has the power to select and dismiss the ministers and the power to direct and coordinate the policies. I hope these points are clear to you. Moving forward to Prime Minister in the Parliament. Prime Minister is the leader of the house, like leader of that parliament, because he's leading it. And he guides the government in business of parliament. Whatever discussions are going to take place, Prime Minister guides it. He is the spokesperson of the government. And if any question is raised by MPs and they are not satisfied, it is duty of the Prime Minister to satisfy him, to answer them. And he is also answerable to the people of the country. Also, intervention in the case of controversial issues. If there is any kind of controversies going on, then Prime Ministers have to answer according to it and defend the government policies and decisions. Moving forward, let us see how is Prime Minister the leader of the nation and why he is called so. Because Prime Minister is the symbol of national unity in our country. He represents India in world affairs. You must have seen a Prime Minister visiting different countries, meeting their executive heads and condensing the favorable deals for a country. He also guides the nation in times of crisis and provides leadership to the ruling party and the people, decides what kind of relation India is going to have with the other countries. Like if we want to support Bangladesh when they are in crisis, then this decision lies on the government, and government is headed by the Prime Minister. So he is deciding what kind of relations we are going to hold with the other countries, with our neighbors. And also it is his duty to protect the interest of the country in international forum. Also, if we give too much power to Prime Minister and there is no one to look upon what this authority is doing, then it may turn out to be danger against us. So there are few people who are putting a check on Prime Minister also. Who are they? Let's see how the authority of Prime Minister is checked. Though Prime Minister is the leader of the majority party, but he has to ensure the support of his ministers also from the party. Also, in case of coalition, when the Prime Minister coalition is what? When two different parties are coming together and forming the government, they do not enjoy the absolute. One single party is not going to enjoy the absolute majority, and that position is very vulnerable, because you will not be, if other party is not ready to hold your thoughts, then they might not be supporting you to pass the bill. Next, opposition parties always look for a chance to criticize the Prime Minister, and it is the duty of the opposition also to see that whatever things Prime Minister is doing, it is right or wrong, to debate upon it. Next, the press and public opinion act as effective check on Prime Minister. So, a Prime Minister should be held responsible if he is doing anything which is not good for a country, and press and media should represent it also. Now let us move forward and see collective responsibility and individual responsibility. So there is Article 75 Part 3 in it, which states that Council of Ministers shall be collectively responsible to the House of the People. House of People is Lok Sabha. The decisions taken in the meeting of the cabinet are equally applicable to all the ministers. Like if someone is not supporting that decision, but still they have to support that decision of the government, all ministers jointly share the responsibility of the government policies and the performance. Like if they are doing good, everyone is doing good. If one is doing bad, everyone is doing bad. A vote of no confidence against one minister means it is a vote against whole ministry. It's not just like कि सिर्फ एक इंसान को ही vote of no confidence मिल रहा है. Everyone sink or sail together. Also, the judicial. Also, it is seen that if they resign and they loses the confidence from the Lok Sabha, everyone has to resign. It's not like that only one minister is resigning, and ministers are individually responsible to the president. They hold office during the pleasure of the president and may be dismissed by him on the advice of prime minister, even when they may have the confidence of the legislature. Now let us see the differences between cabinet and council of ministers. As I said, the council of ministers is the bigger circle and cabinet is the inner circle within it. The council of ministers consists of all the categories of ministers, that is cabinet minister, minister of state and deputy minister. But cabinet is a smaller group consisting of senior ministers holding important portfolios such as defense, finance, home. Council of Ministers. In Council of Ministers, Prime Minister may or may not consult the other ministers below the rank of Cabinet Minister, but in Cabinet, they are most trusted colleagues of the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister always consult these people, and the day-to-day working of the government, Council may rarely meet, but Cabinet is meeting regularly. I hope this difference is clear to you. Here are few previous year questions of this chapter, and this we are going to discuss in the next part. I hope you found this video informative. Thank you. Let's meet next time.